Hello, and welcome to one of our favorite days here at News Channel 9, our weather radio event days. We have crews in two different locations at Elders Ace Hardware today, and we are standing by ready to program your weather radios. You can see the information there on your screen if you want to come out and meet our team, Ooltewah and Varnell locations from 10 a.m. today until 7 p.m. Let's take a look at all of our team members who are out at those locations. Bill Race, Storm Track 9 senior meteorologist Dane Wormlinger, and Meg Doyle, spread out across those locations. Bill, let's start with you. What are you seeing out there, and tell us why this is so important?
Well, we're in Varnell, Georgia, and at the Ace Hardware. And it is important because we look at the weather radios as kind of our first line of defense as far as getting you alerted to the possibility of severe weather. Of course, then after, and we always say you should have several different types of alert mechanisms in order to get your warnings and your watches. And so it's very important that you have one of these in your home, I feel, because we are, it's one of those things that you may not know in the middle of the night, and it will wake you up. I'm not going to say it's all the most pleasant sound in the world, but it is something that will wake you up. And we have folks here that are programming, and we are. Yeah, I've been getting several people coming in. Some folks have been bringing in their own radios, and asking if they could reprogram them, or if it's a different brand, if we can program that for you. So that's all good for today as well. And we're in Whitfield County, and things are going along as scheduled.
Perfect. Bill, show us one of those weather radios you have. Do you have one you can
Yep.
show us there? And what you guys are doing, programming specific county to county, right to where you live.
That's right. And, that's a big difference what it was years ago when any county would just be alerted and your radio was going off all the time. So the big difference here is that we can program it for one county, two counties sometimes, but I always recommend just your home county. So like here, we're getting people from Whitfield. We've had some from Murray, and we can put that right into the radio. So the only alerts you'll get are for that specific county.
And exactly how that works, Olivia Glass went to the National Weather Service. She's going to walk us through how they send those alerts out and how they get to your specific county.
Outside of the National Weather Service office in Morristown, Tennessee, they walked us through how a weather alert, like a tornado warning, makes it from here to your weather radio.
So this event here, which everybody will probably remember, this is the Easter tornado of 2020. So I want to show you the process that a forecaster would do to we kind of have the storm. We were looking at the strength of the storm here. We're looking at the rotation of the storm here. And we can also see, in this case here, this is actually what they call a debris ball. We can actually see the debris that's happening from this tornado.
The National Weather Service in Morristown sends alerts to 10 out of the 16 immediate counties in the News Channel 9 viewing area.
Once we're ready, we'll go ahead and issue the warning.
And having your weather radio programmed to your specific county is very important.
The weather radios, when they are alerted, it's based on the county. So if you have programmed in your radio Hamilton County, any warning for the entire county will alert your weather radio, even if that storm is not going to affect you.
But Anthony Cavalucci says wireless emergency alerts sent to your cell phone are more localized to your specific area.
We draw the polygon that you saw, and within 300 feet of that polygon, if you're in there, you're going to receive the wireless emergency alert on your phone.
But those cell phone alerts, the National Weather Service says, can be less reliable.
These weather radios, they're currently supplied with phone lines. So it's all dependent on the phone line to the transmitter. And so we send our broadcast via phone line to the transmitter to broadcast out. So those are what trigger our weather radios during times of severe weather. And so cell phones may not be working at the time of the severe weather.
If someone, for example, has maybe a hearing or visual impairment, how would you recommend them to still receive weather alerts?
For the deaf and hard of hearing, the weather radio companies do supply like pillow shakers. They're like little vibrating things that you could slide in your pillow that will wake them up. And then also we have, there's a strobe light that's also available. So not all manufacturers have this. This happens to be through Midland Radio. They're the ones that provide the pillow shaker and the strobe. So when a warning goes off, these things either buzz or flash at you to wake you up.
The National Weather Service always recommends to have multiple ways to receive your warnings, such as the Storm Track 9 app. Just search WTVC in your app store. In Morristown, Tennessee, Olivia Glass, News Channel 9.
And we're going to bring Olivia in now. Olivia, you made that trip out to Morristown, and you're a meteorologist. You've obviously studied this. What did you learn there that you maybe didn't know before about weather radios?
So I'd say for the most part, it's most of the things I had already knew that I learned in school. So what he really did was first pull in past radar data and kind of show us the process of, unfortunately, what occurred back in 2020, that Easter 2020 tornado. So he pulled in that past radar data, redrew the polygon to show just how they would issue a warning to us and what went out during that time frame. So that's what he did. He did that for us and then kind of explained if somebody has a hearing impairment, visual impairment, how people can still receive their alerts, even if they are limited in those areas, and of course have multiple ways to receive alerts. You may, your location services for some reason may be turned off in some weather app, and so your location may change and the app can't catch up to that and fast enough. So that's why having multiple ways to receive alerts from the National Weather Service is your best friend. That could be through your weather radio, that could be through your cell phone, different Storm Track 9 apps, for example. But our top priority here is to keep everyone safe and get those warnings out as soon as possible, because the sooner a warning goes out, the sooner you can take action and take shelter if it's necessary.
And what we're looking at right now, some of our video from those 2020 tornadoes in the Ooltewah, East Brainerd area, Collegedale. And for those of us who were here at the time, we know how important those warnings were. It allowed people to go and take shelter so that some of this damage, was just home damage and not the more loss of life that could have happened if we didn't have those warnings ahead of time.
Exactly. So that's why having so many ways to alert you, especially with us being here in the southeast portion of the country, unfortunately, we're more prone to nocturnal tornadoes or just severe weather in general. So having that weather radio scream at you basically during the nighttime hours to wake you up is what's most important. So in the event of severe weather during the nighttime hours, make sure you're able to wake up to your alerts in case if one does get issued, because that potentially could save your life.
All right, Olivia, thanks so much. I'm going to add Meg Doyle now. Meg, you were talking to some first responders that responded to these Ooltewah tornadoes. You're also at the Ooltewah location there. And anytime we go out to these Elders ACE locations that were near some of these tornadoes, you always hear stories about people coming up saying, my home was damaged, or we were not far away from that area. What did those first responders say about how important those weather radios are?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the event of emergencies, one thing that they reiterate time and time again is that these come through so quickly. Oftentimes they don't know exactly where something like a tornado, the pinpoint location. It's hard to have that pinpoint location. And he was saying, I spoke with the Tri-State Fire Marshal here in Ooltewah, and he was saying that they actually had the top of their fire station was ripped off. They had first responders underneath the trucks. So that just goes to show how quickly it can go from, okay, it looks like it might be now, And he was just reiterating to me how important these weather radios are, just as Bill and Olivia have been saying. They're just most reliable. If you are at, if you rely on your phone for weather, that's a great method. But, what happens if you lose power, if your phone dies, you're unable to charge it? These weather radios, they are a sturdy backup for you. You keep it plugged into your wall all year round. And then they also have batteries. So in the event that your power is out, those batteries will kick in and ensure that you still get those alert. But the fire marshal was telling me about how during those Ooltewah tornadoes that hit Ooltewah and East Brainerd area, mass destruction, homes, businesses, a lot of people lost everything they owned. And he says these weather radios can actually save your life, because in the event of emergency, every single second counts, every second matters. Just to get yourself up, get to safety. As Olivia was saying, these things are loud. So if you're sleeping in the middle of the night, it will wake you up. It will make sure you know that, hey, there's something serious coming your way. You need to, get to a basement, get into a tub, get to a safer place. So it really impactful speaking with him about that, as a lived experience, seeing firsthand all the destruction that hit our area, and just realizing how important something like a weather radio can be. It takes us, a minute to program, but a minute to program here, and then that could potentially save your life. He was also talking about how there's been an increase in severe weather in our area, the Tennessee Valley and North Georgia area, over the past 5 to 10 years. He says it just seems like we've just been getting, more severe weather more often, which is another reason why these weather radios are so important. I know we're about to head into the peak of severe weather season, hurricane season. We've already been hearing about some things forming in the ocean down in Florida. So it's just so important. Now is the best time to get it, so you stay prepared ahead of that severe weather season. But I am at the Ooltewah location. We are inside today because I know we're expecting some rain, not severe rain, which is good news. But you can see our sign right here for weather radio. And then I am just going to walk you guys in, and then we'll hand you off to Dane Wormlinger. He's here with me now. He's going to explain, more of the logistics, but I'm just going to show you because we're kind of tucked away in the corner here. So when you walk into Elders Ace, you pass by the registers. We're going to go around. We're right where the grills are. So if you can see, there's Dane over there, but we are right tucked over here. And like I said, it really does not take long for us to program these radios. You get free batteries, and Dane, I believe, has more info on all of that, and he's going to show us some of these weather radios firsthand.
Yep. So first, Meg, we do have a piece of that interview from your fire marshal. Let's listen to a little piece of that.
The radios are hands down the best method of getting reliable information for your location. Weather apps are great. They're great if you're going to sit there and watch them and keep them updated. But if you have a phone and you don't constantly keep it updated, it may go into hibernation. It may become an inactive app. If the cell phone towers and the networks go down, you may not get a reliable notification. And then sometimes with your GPS location, you may not get an alert until the storm event is already there or is even past. So the most important thing I think about having a weather radio is making sure that you have it turned on, that you got the volume on, and that it's programmed for the response area that you're in. To make sure you have that location programmed so you're getting notifications for your location and not for something else.
And how do you make sure that you can have it programmed for your location? You can come see our Storm Track 9 team, Meg and Dane, both at the Ooltewah location. Dane, show us what's going on at that table behind you.
Yeah, so right behind us is where we have all of these weather radios being programmed. And of course, right across from this table, we have our handy dandy shelf where you can find these weather radios. Now, guys, usually these Midland weather radios are going for $49.99. But today, because we are doing our weather radio programming event, they are going for $39.99. A lot of people have questions about the cost. But again, you can purchase that weather radio and then bring it over to our team. Meg is already right off the stream helping to program additional weather weather radios right now, which is some great news. We have our Elders Ace Hardware team as well contributing with this. Now, on top of these weather radio purchases, $5 goes back to the Forgotten Child Fund. So this is really a double whammy. We're giving back to the community in that way, but also making sure that you are prepared for those severe weather events. If you have any spare cash as well, on top of purchasing a weather radio, we do have buckets where you can donate to the Forgotten Child Fund. Now, Latricia, last time we did a weather radio event, I had a chance to speak a little bit with the Forgotten Child Fund about their efforts that are happening year round. This isn't just something they do during the holidays and getting coats for kids and making sure that our youth are staying warm, but they have to collect those year round. And so to collect these funds all throughout the year makes a big difference.
You are so right, Dane. And if you can't come and visit us, we do have on our newschannel9.com website a video that David Glenn, our chief meteorologist, will walk you through how to program your own weather radio. And let's take a watch at that right now in case you have yours at home, you can't make it out today, and you want to know how to do that.
I'm Storm Track 9's David Glenn, and I'm here to show you how to program your Midland WR120 Severe Weather Radio, one of the most widely used radios in our area. To get started, you'll need 3 AA batteries and the power cord that came with your radio. I'll be showing you how to set up a brand new radio right out of the box, and if your radio happens to be an older version, I'll have some helpful troubleshooting tips at the end of this demonstration. Let's get started. First, insert the batteries in the compartment on the bottom of the radio. Also, make sure the weather radio switch on the side is in the on position. The display on the front will now show welcome and ask you to select the language you like to use. Press the select button to see your choices. Use the up or down arrows to choose between English, Spanish, or French. Press the select button again to lock in your choice. Next, you will be asked to set the location for the area which you would like to receive alerts. Press the select button. Here you have the option to choose between any to get alerts for any county in the area, multiple to get alerts for more than one county, and single to get alerts for just one county. We recommend choosing single to get those alerts relevant to your area. The National Weather Service will warn all counties affected by a watch or warning at the same time. I'll be demonstrating how to program your radio for a single county. Press the select button again to make your choice. Your display will now show 01 empty. Press the select button again to begin setting your location. Use the up or down arrows to choose the country you live in. Then press select. Now choose your state or province and press select again. And then choose the county you live in. Press select to finalize your location. If you chose multiple at the start, just repeat the process to add more counties that you would like to receive alerts for. After you have set your location, you'll be asked to set the time. Press the select button and use the arrow keys to set the hours and minutes. Here's a helpful tip. Use the down arrow first to quickly get to PM hours. Use the up arrow to stay with the AM hours. Press select when you're finished setting the time. Next, you'll be asked to set the channel. Press select to see your options. Use the arrow keys again to cycle through the 7 different channels until you hear the National Weather Service broadcast.
This is NOAA Weather Radio Station WXK48, the voice of the National Weather Service.
Press select to choose that station. That's it. Your new radio is ready to go. Now be sure to plug it in and also have fresh batteries, and check those batteries about once every other month because you'll need those batteries should you lose power. Until that point, leave the radio plugged in. Okay, that's the setup for a new radio, but what if your radio isn't new? Here are some helpful tips. First, remember that if your radio was correctly programmed in the past but has lost power, you won't necessarily have to reprogram it. The radio should still have the correct location and channel settings in its internal memory. Just put in fresh batteries and plug it in. You can check the location and channel by pressing the menu button, then use the arrow keys to go to set location. Press select. The radio will display whether it's been programmed for single, multiple, or any county. Press select again to see the county that the radio is programmed for. To check to make sure your radio is set to the correct channel, be sure the switch on the side is turned to the on position. Then hit the weather snooze bar. If you hear a National Weather Service broadcast, you'll know that it's programmed correctly. If you don't hear anything from your radio, Use the volume buttons to ensure the volume is turned up. If you hear a high-pitched ring and nothing else, it's a sign the radio is no longer operable and will have to be replaced. And lastly, to reset your radio back to its factory settings, unplug it and remove one of the batteries. Then, hold the weather snooze bar as you reinsert the battery. The radio will reset to its factory settings and is now ready to be programmed. For more information on the Midland WR120 radio, visit www.midlandradio.com. We've also placed a helpful link to the operating manual for this radio here on our website. For Storm Track 9, I'm David Glenn. Thanks for watching.
So that's how you can program your weather radio at home. But the good news is you don't have to do that because our team is spread out across the area in Varnell, in Ooltewah, helping you do that today. Bill, if you had to tell people one good reason to come out today and get this programmed today while our team is out there, what would it be?
Well, I think that first of all, that we have programmed many of these so we can be sure that it's correct. And also we can kind of do some explaining as to why it is so important and maybe where to put it in your house and what's best for you. So, because everybody's got a little different situation perhaps in their home. So I think that's the most important, just to get the best information to folks.
That's exactly right. Again, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Varnell and Ooltewah locations of Elders Ace Hardware. The Storm Track 9 team is ready to talk to you, to meet you, and most importantly, to keep you safe in severe weather. Thanks for joining us today from the News Channel 9 Stream Center. We're going to do this again this afternoon. If you want to join us again, we'll be here around 3:30. And for now, we'll see you out at Elders Ace.